Baruch Haba and welcome everybody back to our daf discussions. We are going to be discussing the sugya of hapeseach beis hatzavar, which is in Shabbos daf memches. We took a brief vacation and we had large feedback. Everyone was waiting for us. Yeah, the other way. So therefore, we are starting again. We have a special guest today, Rabbi Nachum Hershkowitz Shlita, the future member of daf discussions. He will be joining us. Hopefully, he won't make too much trouble. This is actually the second time I'm trying because the first one, 7 minutes in, which was like 30 seconds left, he decided to stop it. We thank him very much, and hopefully today this one will be a little better. Otherwise, we're gonna have to wait till he takes a nap to sneak in a recording. So Rashi, the gemara says if someone opens a Bais Yosef, which means that if someone has a shirt and the top of the shirt there was no hole to stick your head through, you would cut it open. The gemara says Chayv chatas. Rashi says Chayv because of tikkun money. So the Rambam in Paragil Yud said it's Chayv because of Korע. So the Bais Yosef and Shimon Shin Yud Zayin, he asks, why didn't Rashi say also because of Korע? So he says Rashi holds Korע is only almanas litfar. Don't touch, okay? Don't touch the mic. It's only if you plan on sewing it. You're ripping something to sew it back together. Here, you're ripping open the shirt, but you plan on keeping it like that. So Mela says the Bais Yosef, Rashi holds there's no chiyuv kriya. Now the Rambam disagrees. Rambam holds, he says mefurish that the chiyuv almanas litfar is not a din. It has to be almanas litfar. It's only that it shouldn't be don't touch. It's only that it shouldn't be mekalkel. However, if in this case it's not mekalkel, right? Nachum, it's not mekalkel because you want the shirt open. So therefore, Rambam holds Chayv al Korע, and Rashi disagrees. Korע means almanas litfar, so it will come out from the Bais Yosef of machlokes Rashi and the Rambam if Korע almanas litfar is a din be'etzem needs almanas litfar or the ois, or it's just so it shouldn't be mekalkel. So no, you can watch it soon, okay? So now the card for this is from a Tosfos. This Rashi is from a Tosfos and Daf. You want to watch, but you can't touch, okay? It's my Tosfos and Daf. Look at this. Look, I'm show you Tosfos. It's my Tosfos and Daf. Ayin Gimel Amid Beis. Dibur Masel V'Tzarach Leitzim. Tosfos it says Korע needs almanas litfar, and he compares it to the zomer ve'ein tzarach leitzim. The guy prunes a tree, ein tzarach leitzim, but the he's still doing it's not mekalkel. I feel lucky you need to be tzarach leitzim, similar to Korע almanas litfar. So Rikveger and Gilin Hashas is medayik from Tosfos. It seems it's two diuk. First, the lashon Tosfos. And I'll tell you the second diuk. The Tosfos learns zomer v'tzarach leitzim and Korע almanas litfar is not only because of kilkel. It's meikar hadin. It's nishke malacha unless it's almanas litfar. I think it's right. If starts from the lashon is because in the case of zomer, you're pruning it. There, it's not a kilkel. You're fixing the tree, and I feel hachi. You're only chayiv if it's tzarich leitzim. So Kveg and Gilin Hashatz asks a kasha from gemara later on that says a korע b'chamasa. It's in the kufs. I don't remember exactly. You see, kufalav, kufav, somewhere over there that says kufayim beis. It says korע b'chamasa. If you rip something because you're angry and you want to get your kids all nervous, right? You want to get them shaking. So there, the Gemara says it's a tikkun because it's a tikkun because you have your purpose in ripping. It's fekar b'kevega, but it's not almanas litfar. So that's one kasha on Shitas HaTosfos, which according to the Shitas Rashi, that Korע almanas litfar is you're not chayiv even if it's not a mekalkel. Another kasha, Avnei Nezer and Simon Kuf Pei Vav points out that you can't say that's pshat in Rashi that Korע almanas litfar needs ba'etzim because Rashi himself, Laman Alpha and Beis, says a different shot. Rashi says that almanas litfar is only so it shouldn't be mekalkel like the Rambam. So it's vayter shver. Why Pesach Beis Hatzaver? Rashi doesn't say this shot of Korע. So just to answer the kasha on Tosfos, the Avnei Nezer says a simple mahalach. He brings down a levush. It says when you open up svarim that have letters on the side, there's a chiyuv of meichik, even though it's not almanas lichtlev. He says because mistomia your das is to close it again. So he goes with stomia. So he says so too when someone rips a beged, mistomia his das is to sew it back together. So even against Korע b'chamasa, you can still assume it's almanas litfar, right, Nachum? Yeah. So therefore, Kvega says that it's almanas litfar. So therefore, you're going. So that's answer Kvega's kasha on Korע b'chamasa because you could assume it is almanas litfar. Now that's not going to answer Rashi because, like we said, Rashi still a steers Rashi. Rashi Naf Laman Aleph says that you don't need almanas litfar. It's only so it shouldn't be mekalkel. Now Rav Akiva Eiger, the Beur Halachah at the end of Shimshon Mem, he has a huge tremendous arichas on this sheet of Korע almanas litfar on the Bais Yosef. Teichan Dvar, he disagrees with the Bais Yosef. He says there's no such sheet in the Welt that holds you need almanas litfar at all. He tried to answer Kvega's kasha as well. He says Tosfos is matchik the lashon Tosfos, and he says Tosfos says zomer that you need tzarich leitzim even though there it's not a kilkel. He says no, there it's not. It's considered a kilkel because you're cutting. The tikkun is only in the tree, but you're cutting the eitzim. You have to have a tikkun in the eitzim itself. So he says Tosfos, so everyone agrees that Korע does not need almanas litfar b'etzim. It's only so it shouldn't be mekalkel. And that answers the gemara by Korע b'chamasai. I for Kvega what's shot in Rashi over here the chayrich tikkun. Why by Pesach Beis Hatzaver didn't Rashi explain it in Rambam that the reason why you're chayiv is because of Korע, the chayra, even though it's not almanas litfar, but who cares? Is dacha tikkun. So he says because it's nishken kriya b'chlal. Kriya is only the malacha of kriya is you're destroying something with a purpose almanas litfar or it shouldn't be mekalkel. But you're not destroying, it's not ripping, you're just finishing it off. It's one shtick ticking. It's a hepech of kriya. So for a different reason, arguably says. But Yosef explain Rashi, it's not a manas litver, it's a whole different svara. He says it's because that it's nishkin ticking b'chalal, it's nishkin kilkel, it's a shtick ticking, that's not kriya at all. Beur Halachah also brings down the sheet of the Chayv, the Nishmas Adam, that says that this shaila, if you need a manas litver, is totally melachah and sucha if you're Chayv or Hutner. I'd like to end with a shtickle from the Beur Yosef, Rav Zundel Aishisok. He discussed it he briefly discussed it in the Sefer Chavel Yosef, but in more arichas over here in Shuvas, in somewhere over there in Siman something. So I think it's Chaf Aleph. So he says as follows. He says that he quotes the Tais later on that in order it seems what it's a very complicated Shuv. It seems that he's trying to say that Rashi Betzim holds the Svara in Kilkel, that you need a Manas Litver, so it shouldn't be a Kilkel. So he says I over here. So he says, but every case he holds this is considered a kilkel. He quotes a Tais later on Daf Kuf Vavam and Aleph. He said you have to see the Tais in different context. Or being the time, the lashon of Tais is he says in order to be a tikkun and not to be a kilkel, you have to have a tikkun happening immediately. So he says as follows: he says the reason why you're chayiv, even though he says there it's not because it's a tikkun. In other words, he says the reason is because the tikkun is happening. Betzman should be mekalkel, even though you're having in mind to fix it eventually for a tikkun, because that doesn't take away from the mekalkel, because it has to happen to me. The reason is because every shtick kriya, the second you rip it right away, it's a tikkun. So he says it's not a mekalkel at all. In other words, mekalkel for a purpose is called mekalkel still. The only way it's not called a kilkel is only if it's the second you're ripping it, it's immediately a tikkun. So he says by kriya b'chamosoi over there, it's immediately every shtick kriya you're getting to get a little more nervous. So that's a tikkun. Although there's a purpose, eventually you're opening it, but the purpose is not accomplished until you're finished. So therefore, Zokr Zundel, Aishisok, that would be considered a kilkel, even though you have a purpose. But Lamaisa, the purpose is until later, so that's like Taisus and Kuvav. Unless it happens right now, that would still be considered mekalkel. That's what it seems from Rav Zundel. I don't know if I get his lump, that's definitely his distinction between the two sugyas. It depends when the kilkel happens. He says, there's no kilkel at all, because immediately there's a tikkun. Rashi over here, which didn't want to say Korea, that's because the tikkun doesn't happen until later. Thank you everyone for listening, and thank you, Nachum, for being such a good sport, and letting me get through it only on my second choice. Nachum, say bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Say bye, computer.
I want to watch.
What do you want to watch?
I'm going to watch.
You want to watch what?
I'll do for one.
Different one, okay. We're going to do this.